All right, be honest with me. How idiot-proof is the T-Rex?
So the hybrid cycle, glad you asked that question, is actually probably the most foolproof process, operation, training, because number one, miters, right?
Right.
Everybody's doing setup time on miters. So one thing that people constantly have to do is what I call setup time in the traditional way. They got to evaluate, is my table level? Is the material thickness varying? Also, what kind of substrate do I have? Do I have concrete, rubber, wood, etc.? Those factors all play into getting perfect miter measurements, which in reality, you don't really have great miter measurements cutting on a substrate. Only because it's tough to control those things. There's always a variance from one side to the other. What most people do is they rob the difference of that height difference. And they do it via a probe also that wastes extra time on each cut line. Or they got to actually manually bring the blade over the material and they're measuring the differences. Does that make sense?
It does.
Sometimes they end up shimming underneath these pieces. So when you do the hybrid, for instance, all I'm doing is putting the slab upside down on vacuum pods. And I get perfect measurements and consistent measurements. I also get separation on the inside corners. I also have very stable miter apron cutting because the level's perfect and then the measurements are perfect and I don't have thrust underneath pushing the piece at the end when the cut comes out.
Right.
Because when it's upside down and the blade goes through the material, there's no slurry pushing into a substrated table, sandblasting the back end of the blade.
Right.
So all the operator has to really do is line up the slab with the laser projection. Just like it was a vertical cut job, we removed the whole error or talent necessary for somebody to have to do miters. That's just one example.
So I can tell you my guys can bend a screwdriver.
Well, this is a common problem that everybody's got in shops, right? So these days, trying to find skilled labor is not easy. It's not getting easier.
Definitely not.
And if we can eliminate all these steps, just by default, Lean Manufacturing 101, is if a process has less steps, it's more foolproof.
Yes.
And we have the lowest steps in a fabrication process. We're the only single process that's ever been actually done as a common practice. That works guaranteed for every type of countertop situation.
Okay.
So very easy. We eliminate the most errors. We're the most foolproof, the most idiot-proof, guaranteed hands down. And I can explain that in detail per case. We got 4 different kinds of kitchens: miter kitchens, cookie cutter, traditional custom, and lamination.
Right.
On all of those, we can explain it. So
How long do you think it would take to train somebody from the get-go, the implementation?
what I'm gonna say is this. The implementation is about the same effort and the same time to teach somebody a CNC saw or to teach somebody a CNC router. But it's not twice the effort.
Right.
It's the same.
Right.
And if you learn, what we're seeing is that there's guys, we actually have people that came looking for a bridge saw and they're using a Blue Ripper.
Right.
We showed them the T-Rex, the single table. They went straight to the T-Rex single table.
Yeah.
And they're using it right now.
Oh yeah.
Hybrid. Actually, there's a gentleman in northern Texas
Oh, really?
that I'm thinking of. Really nice people. Yeah, but they went straight from the Blue Ripper to a T-Rex, and now just within a couple months, they're getting a back edge machine.
You got to give it to them to be able to notice the change. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
oh yeah, absolutely. It's not normal, because
No, it's definitely new and it's hard.
So he said, I want to keep the lowest amount of people. I got one guy working with the Blue Ripper, and he does the hand fabbing.
Right.
Same one guy, but now they're quintupling their production in a day.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely the most foolproof.
Cool.